Hi and welcome to all the racing enthusiasts around the globe joining us for this pre-recorded show. It is recorded for the Tuesday meeting at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and the meeting will be kicking off at 12:25. A 9-race program, 1800 meters, race number 1. Lovely to have Graham Hawkins on the line, the resident expert. Graham, firstly, how are you doing? And then secondly, looking at the card, what do you make of it?
I'm doing well, thank you, Sheldon. Yes, it's a very tricky card. There are no standouts throughout the 9-race program, the first of which goes off at 12:25, as you've mentioned. But I think we can narrow each of the races down to a few runners.
Right, let's kick off with the very first race over 1800 meters, where number 4, Groove Jet from the Justin Snaith team, 70 days off the track, second last time out behind Greenland, and this is a horse who's got some fair form in the bank, 18-10. Number 7, Congressman, who ran second last time out behind Midway, is 7-2, and then 6-1 and better the rest. Are you in the camp of number 4, Groove Jet, Graham, or are you looking elsewhere?
I think Groove Jet could well be the right horse. The further he goes, the better he should be. He's been brought along nice and slowly. Last time out second, as you mentioned, in an open maiden over 1600. The extra 200 meters should be in his favour. So he's certainly entitled to his position at the top of the betting boards. But Congressman, second over this course and distance. So he's had the previous experience of track and trip. And Andre Nell did have a winner over the weekend. So his string is in a fairly good space. So Congressman won't be a walkover, certainly will give Groove Jet something to think about. The one that I'm looking to improve is number 9, Black Cherry. Third run after being rested and gelded, and third run after a 2-year absence from the track. They've persevered with this 5-year-old son of Rafif, and he's certainly bred to go further. So watch for a lot of improvement from number 9, Black Cherry, as he steps up to 1800 meters. So 4, 7, and 9 would be my top 3 choices in order of preference. But it doesn't necessarily end there. Happy Days, Vaughan Marshall. One late declaration here is that Happy Days will wear blinkers, and stable companion Wood World has also shown enough to suggest he could be competitive in this lineup. But I think Groove Jet could well turn out to be the right one.
Right, let's move on to race number 2, which is your suggested bet, the opening leg of the bipot, 1800 meters. And just for everybody to take note that it's an open handicap, open maiden, so it's a handicap, so keep a close eye on the structuring of the weights. Now, Graham, looking at the first race favourite, Justin Snaith, the second race, Justin Snaith with number 8, Lady Springfield. Richard Fareed jumps aboard, and this is a daughter of Master of My Fate, newly turned 3-year-old. Headed in the right direction from that first run over 1200 to the 1600. And then you got number 1, English Mistress, who is the 4-year-old with 61.5 kilograms from the best of the draw.
Yeah, I think it's a match between these two. Lady Springfield is very short in the market at 14-10, and certainly done enough to suggest that she could win a race of this nature. But she is a young filly. She's only having her 3rd start, and at weight for age, she could be held by number 1, English Mistress. That said, English Mistress has had many opportunities to shed her maiden ticket. She's certainly got racing fitness on her side, as does number 8, Lady Springfield. They've both had a run just a month or so ago. So Lady Springfield from English Mistress, these are the 2 that I've included in the opening leg of the bipot. Number 2, Lavender Bay, is a filly that I have been following. I've been waiting for Lavender Bay to come to hand. She's done enough to keep one interested, but she may have to step up a little further to get the better of the likes of English Mistress and Lady Springfield. I don't think this race is going to take a lot of winning. If Lady Springfield is well above average, then she could well overturn the weight for age disadvantage with number 1, English Mistress, and come out on top. So it's between those 2, I would have thought, and I think we're pretty safe here in the opening leg of the bipot with numbers 1, English Mistress, and number 8, Lady Springfield. But I would be hesitant to bank a number 8, Lady Springfield.
That'll take us on to race number 3, which will be the opening leg of the place accumulator. 13:30 is the carded off time. It's over 1800 meters. And just having a look, nice to see number 3, Pakaya, back in action, 61.5 kilograms. Once again, Justin Snaith and Richard Ferree, 16-10. Number 7, Otterleuken is 28-10. 1 Lovers a Rose, 4-1. And then it's 9-2 and better the rest. Let's kick off with number 3, Pakaya, because he's running all the big races. He was a good winner when beating Rapidash in his penultimate run. And then last time out, we all saw what happened in the running of that race.
Yeah, that was a freak race. The fact that he ran second, beaten 9 lengths, I don't think we should read too much into that. We know that he's a quality gelding by Trippy. He's a former winner of the World Sports Betting 1900, and as such is the one they all have to beat. He hasn't run since May, but that's not his fault. He's been carded to run so many times since, but been the victim of all of those abandonments. So finally, Pakaya gets a chance to get his season underway. It's not going to be a walk in the park under 61.5. As you mentioned, we're not quite sure where all of these horses stand fitness-wise. Justin Snaith's got 4 runners in the race, 2 Sachdev, 3 Pakaya, 4 Rockpool, and 5 Rapidash. Rapidash is weighted to get closer to Pakaya. It's 1.5 kilos better off with that 1.5 beating back in May. Otterleuken was a game winner of his last start. He was only penalised a couple of points for that when he comes in with a handy galloping weight of 53.5, and again he's got fitness very much on his side. He's also obviously a winner now at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but this is a little tougher than he met last time out. Love is a Rose is as game as they come, and she also hasn't run since May, but that again is not her fault because she's been carded to run in those same races that Pakaya accepted for when they were all abandoned on a continuous basis. And then Sachdev, this has shown improvement in its last couple of starts, and he won at this track back in November at a big price, and he cannot be completely ignored. So I think this is a very trappy Class 2 handicap. It's going to be interesting to see how the race pans out, the pace of the race, etc. But I think that we need to go with number 3, Pakaya, as the top choice, ahead of numbers 1, Love is a Rose, 7, Otterleuken, and number 2, Sachdev. But it's not cut and dried.
On to race number 4, which will be the next hurdle. And talking about cut and dried, they're betting 4-1 the field with 1 and 9. 1 and 9 at 4-1. Number 4, King Pele's went 9-2, shortened 4-1. So we have 3 4-1 joint favourites. And then number 3, Call to Unite at 9-2. 2 a Penny is right there at 7-1. You've gone with numbers 1 and 9 in the bar pot, and I'm afraid it's very tough to separate this field.
Yeah, it's very, very open, this Cape B Stakes. They're designed to be that way, very competitive. You go back earlier in the year, Damio ran second to Blue Bay. They met that occasion at level weights. It was a close call. Damio now gets a kilo and a half from Blue Bay. Blue Bay was just narrowly beaten by Otterleuken last time out. Otterleuken contest the race prior to this one. I was quite taken with the way Damio won his last start. He didn't beat much, one has to say, but he was a runaway winner, dominant winner from start to finish in a smallish field, and the fact that he jumps out of pole position will be very much in his favour. So I do make number 1, Damio, the one they all have to beat, but clear respect for number 9, Blue Bay. Richard Ferree has got a really nice book of rides at this race meeting. On this occasion, in the 4th race, he rides with the Brett Crawford stable, and his strike rate for Brett Crawford is quite phenomenal. It's 33%. He's had 39 rides for the stable for 13 wins, so that's a very, very strong statistic. King Pele's came back to form last time out with a hard-fought win over Mohandas. Like Damio, this is a little bit more competitive, so I want to see him continue on an upward curve. Call to Unite, number 3, certainly not without a chance. Those are probably the principles. Numbers 1, Damio, 3, Call to Unite, 4, King Pele's, and 9, Blue Bay. I've gone with 1 and 9 as my top 2 choices ahead of Call to Unite and King Pele's, but I think Damio might just be the one they all have to beat.
That'll take us on to race number 5. This will be run over 1,400 meters. So the 1,400 meter trip, of course, the draw is going to be of some significance here. And you've gone with number 1, Sail the Seas, who is currently trading at 7-1, and also number 3, Kelp Forest, who's the early money horse, from 5-1 down 4-1. Number 1, Sail the Sea, 73 days off the track. 1 last time out. And of course, number 3, Kelp Forest. He's a 5-year-old. He's a hard knocker. He's knocked up 4 victories and 3 of them over the distance, Graham.
3 over the distance, and his form at Hollywoodbets Durbanville is pretty good. He's had 5 starts there for a win and 3 thirds, so 4 out of 5 he's been in the money. I've taken a bit of a liberty in this leg of the bipod because it's a typical class 4 over 1,400 meters, many with chances, and I've tried to keep the permits as tight as possible. So gone with numbers 1, Sail the Seas, on the basis that he's drawn in pole position. He might have any amount of further improvement to come. He was impressive in his second start over the trip when beating subsequent winner Cumbre Vija. So Sail the Seas for me is one that has certainly got a bright future, but Kelp Forest sets a standard in that he's, as you say, an old soldier, and he's got good recent form, 2 wins and a third in his last 3 starts. But the chances certainly don't end there, Sheldon. Number 2, Slurricane, fluffed his lines last time behind Kelp Forest, but he was a model of consistency before that. He's won his only start at the country course. He's drawn in gate 2, and he's likely to go out there and try and make it from start to finish. So watch for a much better effort from number 2, Slurricane. Number 4, Radicchio. His form over 1,400 meters is solid. He's at 4 starts over the distance for 2 wins and a second, and he's not been out of the frame yet from 2 starts at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. And again, his current form is pretty good. So Radicchio is certainly one of the leading lights. Mont Loisier comes into the race with some decent form. He doesn't know what it is to run a bad race. Does Goot has shown sudden improvement in his last couple of starts, and there's no reason why he shouldn't continue to hold that sort of form. So those are all worth a mention. Big Unit could surprise. It's one of those races where you need a little bit of luck. If you're going light, you need a little bit of luck to get through. So I'm hoping that number 1, Sail the Seas, and number 3, Kelp Forest, one of the 2, if not both, will get me through the bipod. But if you're looking to play it a little wider, then I would suggest you include numbers 2, Slurricane, and number 4, Radicchio, because they're all drawn nicely. Sail the Seas, gate 1, Slurricane, gate 2, Kelp Forest, gate 3, and Radicchio, gate 4. So there should be no excuses for any of them from those barrier positions. So it's competitive. It's a class 4 handicap, and but Kelp Forest for me the leading light.
Lady Luck, you always need her on your side. And as we move on to race number 6, looking at the betting, number 4, Lady Loxton, currently 28 to 10 and 3 to 1. Number 9, Veronique is 4 to 1. 1 Nile the Boss is 9 to 2. And then there's been some money for number 3, Look Forward, from 8 to 1 down 6 to 1. Graham, let's start off with number 4, Lady Loxton, who appears to set the trend after a third and a second after winning the maiden. Well drawn, likes to race up handy. Is this your first selection?
She is my hesitant first selection, Class 5 fillies and mares, 1,400 meters. But as you say, after narrowly winning an open maiden, I didn't think that she was going to step forward from that, but she certainly has. She's been third and second in her last 2 starts. So it's taken a while for the penny to drop for this 4-year-old daughter reversing Getterix, but you've got to give her utmost respect. She's nicely drawn in gate 4. She's working well back at home. That's the word from the stable. So Lady Loxton certainly goes into the play. 9, Veronica was very strong on her a little while ago, but that meeting was abandoned. But she loves 1,400 meters. She's a winner at the course, so you've got to respect her. And stable companion number 7, Fly to Rio. They always appear to be in the same race, Fly to Rio and Veronique. So I've included both in the play, both of Greg Enion's 2 mares. They're getting on now a little bit, Fly to Rio and Veronique, but they're holding their form well. Catalea, she beat Veronique in a penultimate start. She's got 61 to shoulder and a very awkward draw. She did us a very good turn when winning at a very big price in a penultimate start, and she wasn't disgraced to win 4th in a subsequent outing. But from gate 13, it's not going to be easy for Catalea. Nile the Boss, showing signs of coming back to her best form. He's drawn in pole position. That's in her favour. And look forward, as you mentioned, missed her engagement over the weekend to run here. Last time out was second behind Beneath the Moon. She has been placed at the country course, but she's still a maiden. She's had 22 starts, so what you see is what you get. She could certainly get into the fray in this Class 5 handicap. But I'm going with Lady Loxton to beat home the Gregenian pair. 4, 9, 7, 13. Those are my top 4 numbers.
As we step into the ring for race number 7, you got numbers 6, 9 and 11 as far as the bar pot goes. They're betting 4-1 the field, 9 Riverstone and number 11 Speed Racer, both priced up at 4-1. Let's kick off with number 9 Riverstone, the United States gelding from the Gareth van Zyl stable. After winning back-to-back, they tried him with an average rating of a 107. And the money poured on him down 28 to 10, Graham.
Yeah, there were lots of money for him last time out, but the test proved a little tough. He showed for a long way, but then completely folded approaching the final 200 metres. He was clearly badly in need of that run. It was his first outing since March. It's significant that Richard Fourie takes the ride for Gareth van Zyl. We mentioned the strike rate that Richard Fourie enjoys for the Brett Crawford stable earlier. Well, he has a very healthy strike rate for Gareth van Zyl. He's ridden 44 times for Gareth, who is KZN's champion trainer, and he's won on 10 occasions. Riverstone, for me, might just need one more to tighten up fully from what I saw last time out. He has his first ever outing at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, which is not the same for number 11, Speed Racer. Speed Racer has been to the country course 3 times for 2 seconds and a third, so 100% of the time in the money. And if you look at his form, you always get a good run for your money. But it's not going to be easy for these horses because the fancied runners are all drawn a little awkwardly. Riverstone gate 9, Gimme Lightning gate 10, Speed Racer gate 11, Dumbledore gate 12. So they are the fancied runners as far as the betting market is concerned, and they're drawn all towards the outside. Night Bomber was a good winner of his last start, and he should go well again. He's certainly got fitness on his side. Suti could be the lurker in the pack at around 10-1. Suti, carrying just 54 kilograms, is drawn in pole position, and that gives her a solid advantage. And Sundazed, who's also well drawn in gate 2, has won twice at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. That's always a good record to have on your CV when you're racing at the country course. Sundazed could be the potential huge upset, and Dean Street I give a bit of a chance to because I've included that along with numbers 9 and 11. So I've got Riverstone, given him the benefit of the doubt, although I do think he might need one more run, but he might have enough class to carry it off. Speed Racer, his course and distance form and his form at the country course suggests he's got to go in. Dean Street is the one that I've included at a big price just in case there's a bit of a blowout here. But it's wide open. It's very competitive. It's hard to rule a line through any of these runners. It's a typical competitive Class 3, 1,250 metres race, and the draw is going to be a factor.
Right, there we go. As you know, the draw at Hollywoodbets Durbanville round the turn could prove a big factor, and obviously you're going to have to watch them in the ring, watch them go down to the start and see exactly who's fit and who's just going to come up for a little bit of air and might be needing the run. Moving on to race number 8, and just looking at the field, 9 of the 11 runners are returning from layoffs, and of course we all know because of the weather patterns they've been enforced layoffs. So let's take a look at the betting. Number 1, Southern Skies, 33 to 10. Number 7, Night Vigil, 4-1. And then number 9, My Flower Fate at around 5-1. Now just looking at the best weighted column, there's not much separating numbers 11, Unconquerable Lady on a 96 with 5, Winter Rainfall, numbers 4, 2 and 1. So Graham, when it comes to a weight perspective, there doesn't seem to be a lot to choose between them. Is there anything that you've found in race number 8, or are we going to go quite cautiously here?
I think you have to play cautiously. It's another very, very difficult race. You made the comment at the top of the show that this is a very, very tricky day's racing. One that could be handsomely rewarding, but it's one that could also be very frustrating because depending on which way you play it. But I quite like the chance. I'm going to take my chances on a fitness score with number 9, My Flower Fate. I like the way that the Lucinda Woodruff stable are in good form. She's sending out her runners. They're all performing well, and she seems to have a team in a very, very good space. Now, My Flower Fate, she's been to Hollywoodbets Durbanville over this trip only once. She won it. She's had 4 starts in total at the country course for a win, a second, and a fourth. And I know she hasn't run since May, so I'm taking completely on trust to her fitness levels. But as I mentioned, Lucinda Woodruff seems to have a stable in good form. Now, her last 3 runs were all in feature races, and she drops back to a middle stakes. And My Flower Fate could be the value horse in the race. So she gets the vote for me. Need a little bit of luck in running from gate 9. But if you look also at the fact that Corne Orpha has been engaged to ride the horse, he's ridden My Flower Fate 8 times for 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and a fourth. So Corne Orpha certainly gets the right tune out of My Flower Fate. No other jockey has won on the 5-year-old daughter of Master of My Fate. And the fact that she comes back to this sort of company from 3 feature races, for me, is encouraging. But she's going to need luck in running. I think Southern Skies is probably entitled to be favourite. Jumps out of pole position, gets the services of Richard Free. Blinkers go on for the first time, so I think you can almost read the tactics. Bounce out and go. From gate 1, try and lead them a merry dance from start to finish. I've got Healthy Respect from gate 2 for number 2, Kyalami Girl. She's better than her last run. We know that she's fairly talented. Winter Rainfall has got a bit of a chance. Night Vigil, Unconquerable Lady's not going to find it easy from the outside gate, but she has won twice at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. So 9, 1, 2, and 11 for me. But could there be an upset? It is the kind of race that could produce an upset.
Well, talking about upsets, race number 9, I've just gone through the field and a little bit of desperation trying to find a little bit of an outsider here. And I've come up with number 7, Easy Money, and around 14 to 1. I know Piet Buerter holds a very strong hand. He has got the favourite number 4, Trey Schick, at 5 to 2, and then Easy Money at around 14 to 1. Just looking at this individual, if you go back earlier on, ran behind Taylor the Comet, and that average rating was an 88. Ran behind Siddeley, Go Like Flow, Silver Screen. So there is some form there, and I don't think you can get burnt at 14 to 1 about Easy Money, Graham.
Not an easy race, and we're not too far apart, Sheldon. Easy Money is, in fact, my second choice. So, yes, I've got Healthy Respect for her. And this is the kind of race that can produce a funny kind of result. In the last race on Saturday, we went as our value bet with William West. He didn't disgrace us. He ran third, beaten only half a length, and was trapped very wide, but for which he might well have got his nose in front. But certainly we got the each-way money. So if you're going for number 7, Easy Money, as an each-way bet in the last, I wouldn't put you off it. My very hesitant first choice would be the lightly weighted number 6, Electric Fields. She doesn't have a good record overall, but she's only had 3 starts over track and trip for a second and a fourth. She's just got 52 and a half on her back. And Premium Jorker takes the ride. Her last effort wasn't too bad behind Royal Lytham, but that was back in June. But it was nice to see Michelle Ricks and Harold Crawford have a winner over the weekend. So the stable is obviously doing it right. On board, I would like to see her with Blinkers. Becky Sharp has got some form of the worst draw to overcome. Basil Shackleton can get into the fray. The early favourite is number 4, Trey Schick. Now, I'm not suggesting she can't win it. I'm concerned that she's going over 1,000 meters. She's never normally shown the kind of pace that suggests she's going to be up there in the early part of the race, and she might get lost and have too much to do turning for home. But obviously, on overall form, number 4, Trey Schick, does have a winning chance, but not for me at 5 to 2. I would like you. I was looking for a little bit of value. You've come up with number 7, Easy Money, which is my second choice. I've come up with number 6, Electric Fields. But this is a very, very tricky race, and you need to go as wide as possible.
Well, there we go. Number 6, Electric Fields, and number 7, Easy Money. There's no such thing as easy money, but maybe some swingers, exactors, and throw them into your quartets and the likes. That is the 9-race program. Thanks very much, Graham. We're going to bring up your suggested bet, which is the bar pot, if you wouldn't mind taking us through your selections.
Thank you, Sheldon. Second race is the first leg of the bar pot. off it for the 5 gate numbers 1 English and 8 Ladies Springfield. That should get us through. The third race is the Class 2 over 1,800 meters. Numbers 1 Love is a Rose, 3 Pakaya, and 7 Otto Lucan. The next choice would be number 2 Sachdev, but 3 runners in the 7-horse field. I'm hoping that it'll be enough. In the fourth race, which is also the pick 6, going with numbers 1 Bainio and Blue Bay, Call to Unite in Palace would be the next choices. I've taken a complete liberty in race 5 because it could be way off the mark, or I could get lucky. But I've only gone with 2 runners here. Numbers 1 Sail Ease, number 3 Kelp Forest. It's a big field. It's a competitive Class 4 handicaps that are both well drawn, but 2 Slurry Cane and 4 Radesio warrant respect. 4 Lady Loxton, 7 Fly to Rio, and 9 Veronique. This is another race that could produce an upset result. And the last leg, numbers 11 Speed Racer. I'm holding thumbs more than I'm confident, Sheldon. I have to be absolutely honest about that.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on the line. Take care and we'll chat to you soon.
Thanks, Sheldon. Go well, eh?
Thanks very much to Graham Hawkins joining us on the line for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville meeting. And as we see it at the top of the show, a very competitive card. And if you structure it right, you might be able to go all the way to Hollywood.